Well, I guess we're live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Rinpoche. Welcome, Guy. My name is Alejandro Chaoul. I'm the host for today. I'm really excited about this dialogue on inner smile of the heart, being in tune with cardiac coherence. And before I introduce the speakers, I like to say thank you for all the team behind as we do this, particularly Milos and Poli and Mariela on the chat, and so many people that make Cyber Sangha possible. And of course, Cyber Sangha was a creation from Rinpoche, and something that really has allowed thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to really get different aspects of teachings, of dialogues, of different perspectives. Wherever you are, all you have to do is have connection. And so just to let you know, on the 17th, we have our full moon. And this is one of the main things that we do, where for 24 hours, all around the globe, we kind of pass the baton as we guide practice, we practice together, we do it in English, in Finnish, in Spanish, in all these different languages. And so stay tuned and join us for the full moon. All these events, by the way, are free. And so we hope to see you in other events. So Rinpoche doesn't usually like me to say much of him, but I think most people here know him. Geshe Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche is an author, a teacher, and travels around the world, and is the creator and spiritual director of Ligmincha International, with centers in 35 places. And actually, next month, he'll be leading a retreat in Nepal. So hopefully many of you could join us in Nepal on the practice of Chö, and also hopefully the possibility of seeing his 99-year-old teacher, Lopon Tenzin Namdal. And it's great to have Guy here too. I know Guy for a long time, and Guy Desbiolles is a scientist, and he's done his master's was in physical chemistry, focusing on quantum chemistry and physical methods applied to chemical analysis. He went to teach mathematics and physics and chemistry, and he is an energy therapist for the last 3 decades, including working with energetic balance, Metatron bioresonance, and HeartMath. Cardiac coherence, which is part of what we'll be talking today. He's been studying Tibetan Buddhism since 1985 and practiced Tibetan Bön, particularly in 2009. He's also an instructor for the Ligmincha France and Suisse Romande, and brings really his interest and expertise both in science and Dharma. So welcome, Guy. Welcome, Rinpoche. So maybe we could start, Guy, with some definitions, because I think many people may not know what cardiac coherence is. So maybe you want to say a few things on that, and what are some of the physiological aspects and practical aspects?
Okay. Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, Ale. Yes, I guess quite a lot of people have already heard the name cardiac coherence, or eventually also seen small videos on YouTube or some apps. But the general idea about cardiac coherence is not very clear. That's why I think it's useful to begin with the definitions. And first, the name coherence. If my speech is coherent, all the words I'm using contribute to the global meaning, and it makes sense for the one who hear it. If it's not the case, that's the opposite. That's a simple explanation of the word coherence. And then cardiac coherence. This term has been introduced by the researchers of the HeartMath Institute during the 90s, and it has a very technical meaning, and this will be explained later. But we can say that cardiac coherence is a state where all the body's systems, including emotions and thoughts, work in harmony, and the conductor is the heart. That's a simple way to say things. Okay, that's the context. And the next one, when we say being in tune, in fact, what does it mean? We all have an idea about it, but there's a very simple and key experiment to illustrate this notion, and I will show it. So I have here on the table 2 tuning forks of hard metal, and when I strike, they are producing the same sound. The vibrations, 440 vibrations per second, or 440 hertz, that's the frequency, and the corresponding note is La in French or A in English. So now they are producing exactly the same note. If I strike this one, now I stop it, you can hear the second one. It's very strange because they are not linked by anything else than the air. Okay. So the vibrations in the air are able to produce this hard metal to vibrate. Now I will put a stop on this one, and this will change the frequency. You can hear the difference. You can hear a beat frequency. Wow, 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 wow. So, in fact, we are hearing the mix of the 2 frequencies. If I strike the first one, second one is completely silent. This shows something very important. The phenomenon which is called resonance, the different systems have to vibrate on the same frequency. That is the meaning of being in tune. Okay, it looks magic, but if you can hear me, that's exactly the same. The difference only is that our ear is a broadband resonator. It can resonate with a lot of frequencies. But the principle is the same. When I'm speaking, the vocal cords are vibrating, the air is vibrating also, it comes to your ears, activates the vibration in the audio system, and you can hear me. So that's exactly the same phenomenon. And this is very, very widespread in the world around us. Maybe it's useful because I think everyone remembers the first time we have been playing as a child with a swing. We can see the other ones having fun, and when we sit on it, it looks strange. If we are just moving our legs and arms, it is not sufficient. We have to push at the right moment, otherwise it doesn't work. And that's what we have to learn to do. There's the right time to push. So we have to be in resonance with the vibration of the swing, which is determined by the length of the rope. Okay? So we have to learn to push at the right moment. That's an example. There are a
yeah.
lot of other ones. From the big scale, astronomical scale, let's say, down to the atomic level. The colors you see, I mean, if you have a blue shirt, the white light from the outside is coming, and the chemical substance in your shirt is absorbing the yellow. And if the yellow is away, what is resting is the blue. And the absorption is determined by a resonance phenomenon on the atomic level. It's quite complicated, but still it's exactly the same. Then another example, our phones. There are a lot of things working on the same thing. I mean, there are a lot of frequencies around us, but your phone is getting the right message and not the other one. Because inside there are the code, there are resonators and something like that, which are very, very specific. So that's another example. We can maybe give also different example in our lives, because there are a lot of rhythms around us, some very, very slow, others very, very fast. And the most common of them being, where am I? Sorry, here. On the astronomical scale, the most common is the year. When we are asked our age, in fact, we are asked how many laps around the sun have you accomplished at an incredible speed. And the rhythm of the seasons is in relation with that. Just because of the tilt angle of the spinning axis of the Earth. And the seasons are very different depending on where you are on the Earth. Then the other one maybe is the day. The day is associated with the rotation of the Earth. It determines the cycle of light and darkness. Our body reacts to it. The circadian rhythm is related to that, and almost all our body functions react. The melatonin production in relation with the sleep, the digestive system, all the systems are related to this. And I think nowadays everybody has made once the experience, when you are jet lagged, okay, suddenly there's a big perturbation and your body is a little bit lost and it needs time to be in tune again. That's another example. A third one, the women are more aware of it, is the 20 days cycle. This is linked to the rotation of the moon around the Earth. And you have been speaking of the full moon meditations. There's a cycle, okay? It's 28 days. Another question would be, why do we meditate at the full moon and not another time? But okay, the rhythm is given by the rhythm of the moon. So these movements around us are just imparting something very special for our lives, and we have to adjust. That's on the big scale. There are also maybe a little bit more difficult things, but still we will try.
Do you wanna stop here for a moment and see a few correlations, maybe with something from Rinpoche, and then go into the most difficult so we can slowly absorb? Or do you prefer to go all and keep with more examples? What feels better?
For me, it's okay. You tell me.
Okay.
When it's enough, we stop and.
Well, let's stop for now. Let's find some coordinations, and let's continue with the more difficult part. So let's start. I mean, a lot of the things you said were fascinating. And I want to maybe start with the last one, which is the full moon. As you said, for us is an important practice. We do it around the world. There's a sense of being in tune wherever you are. And it's a very important practice in many different traditions, but particularly in the Tibetan tradition. And so I guess my question to you, Rinpoche, is, how do you feel with that? And, your suggestion for us to do all together 24 hours practice during the full moon and how it relates to this resonance.
Well, first of all, Guy, thank you for it was a very good example. It was amazing to see the sound, how they're resonating, communicating. So I guess one thing comes in my mind is, in our life in general, that sometimes we definitely have certain wishes. I mean, I can clearly think about sleep part, which is I'm very much in nowadays. And everybody, the whole world struggles with that part of the sleep part. And sometimes people don't understand there are so many factors that it's affecting your sleep cycle. Like basically, for example, as Guy was talking about circadian rhythm. So the light, if you don't get exposure to the morning light enough, you're going to have a much harder time to embracing the night darkness of the night and sleep better. So in somehow the cycle of the day and the night, light and the darkness, is somehow we ignore them. We just think about there's no direct relationship or affecting each other or something like that. So somehow the question will be to give will be, so this in the cardio coherence will be, what are these communication that in our everyday life, I mean, what are the really key things that we should be aware of, helpful to make some changes or able to make changes or not make changes in life? We always wanted to change things. We wanted to sleep better, but we can't. We wanted to be happier. We can't. We wanted to break some patterns of life. It's difficult. So where does this plays a role?
Okay, if I come back to the definition we have been given, cardiac coherence is a state where all the body systems work in harmony and the conductor is the heart. That's the point. So the question now is, how can we work with this heart and be beginning to control the rhythm? Just in a moment, I will show the biofeedback system of HeartMath, and we'll do it live so that everyone can see the...
Yeah, so maybe in terms of, I'll just say one thing and then I'll let the Guy continue. So the heart is the conductor, which I can clearly see that, how heart is conductor, because if you start your morning in a right way means moment you wake up in the morning, you see your heartbeat and you count your what is your resting heart rate. Well, that's one thing. Evening in the night, so when you go to sleep, your resting heart rate will be when is the lowest your resting heart rate shows up in the biofeedback devices. Many times for many people, it'll be in the morning. That means it took whole night heart to rest. And by the time heart really got rested, your time to get up again. So there's no time. And so even what time you eat during the daytime will define what kind of your resting heart rate will be in the evening. What kind of stress you have during the daytime will also define at 7, 8 in the evening, your heart rate will be different resting, but it will be resting deeper or not. So heart, it clearly seems like the factor for all our biological system, and which very much including sleep. So I think I just wanted to say that.
Okay, I think it's time to explain a little bit the biofeedback system, so that would be more, let's say, on the side of the experience, not only describing, and we'll see it live. So here we are. So that's the AM Wave Pro. That's a software from HeartMath, and I'm using it because it's more easy for me to show the important things. The important aspects are also easily visible on the apps for phones, tablets, or whatever, and there are different ones. But here we can explain the most important things. So the key of the system is this small sensor. It's a very simple one. It has a small light inside on one side, and on the other one it has a detector. So we clip it on the earlobe, and according to the amount of blood flowing in the earlobe, there are more or less color left, light left detected. So if we start, takes a little time. Here you can see my pulse. Now I'm stopping it. And the important point is the time. You cannot see the pointer.
This is HRV, right?
HRV is here on top.
Yeah.
The pulse is on the bottom left. And you can see the successive pulses. And the time difference between each pulses is a little different. So if it would be exactly 1 second, we can say, okay, in 1 minute, there will be 60 beats. So the heart rate would be 60. If the time interval is shorter, there would be more beats during 1 minute, and the heart rate would be higher, and the opposite. Okay. So what the software does, it is in live calculating the corresponding heartbeat. And here we can see how is the live variation. I mean, in the other biofeedback systems, quite often you have your heart rate in the morning, in the evening, and they are defining the HRV in accordance to the maximum and minimum. But here we can see it live during just one breath cycle. Okay. And I am starting again, and we will see how the HRV appears and changes, I mean, with time.
So the down one is the beat, actual beat, and the up one is the variability, right? That's
Exactly. And now we'll see on the bottom left the value of the coherence. I will explain it later. Wait just a minute. Okay, I think it's enough. In the beginning, the HRV was more regular. And when I was speaking, you can see that it's more chaotic, which means that my heart is very, very sensitive to the conditions. If I'm breathing slowly, quietly, it's okay. But when I have to speak, there's a little stress, there are a lot of people there. So the heart is a little bit more nervous, okay? And for me, the most interesting point with this software, if you imagine that the HRV here.
Maybe, Guy, I think the audience might not know what HRV is. So you might want to explain what that is.
Okay.
Many people don't know that.
Okay. HRV, heart rate variability. How it is changing according to time. So when I'm breathing in, there's more oxygen in the blood vessels, and the heart has the tendency to accelerate a little bit. When I'm breathing out, it's the opposite.
Yeah, so basically, if in 1 minute, if there's 60 beats, if it's beating every second same level, the variability is low. But if it's every second is higher, sometimes it's lower, that is the variability. It's not the same. The variability, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, that's we could say that's the live heart rate variation.
Yeah, variation.
I mean, the small differences in the time intervals between the heartbeats is reflected in the HRV curve over.
More variable it is the better it is in generally speaking. That's
exactly. And now, a very interesting possibility of this software, if you imagine that the HRV is a kind of, a little piece of music. Here we have the possibility, spectrum average. The software is able to say which frequencies are there and with which intensity. We could say you have been playing on a keyboard and the system tells you which keys have been touched and with which intensity. The most interesting part, you have here, that's frequency. 0.1 means that you have a tenth of a cycle in 1 second. I mean, it takes 10 seconds to have a complete cycle, which would mean in 1 minute, you have only 6. So when I'm breathing 6 cycles per minute, the frequency would be 0.1 here. The interesting point is all these frequencies, they correspond to specific parts of the autonomic nervous system. On the very left part here, this is related to the sympathetic nervous system. So I was a little bit stressed in that region, and we can see it here. The other part here is related to the parasympathetic system, which normally calms down. And so we can see the state of balance of the autonomic nervous system. We can see it live, but also the mean during the whole session. Donc, when we want to use it, I mean, when I'm working with clients, I'm registering the signal before and after treatment, so that the people can see directly the differences, the state of balance of the autonomic nervous system, and also when I'm explaining the simple breathing exercises, they can see if it's effective or not. Because if you...
So, sorry. So when it says in the experiment here, in the green says 100 in the high and the other two 0. What does that mean?
Okay, it means that my recording was a good quality.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but yeah, but it's a very low level. I can show you maybe a few examples. I have one maybe here. Yes, just have to change something. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
Alex,
What you can see,
matcha,
what you can see here,
huh?
that is the signal from an old man coming completely exhausted. He has a flat curve here, almost no HRV. A single frequency, his heart is full of stress, and tuk, 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 the heart is a metronome. Okay. If we analyze the signal, okay, what we can see here, here's the stress, but very, very low level of intensity here, which means his nervous system is completely flat. No energy, he's lost. Okay? Chronic fatigue and bad sleep, he doesn't recover. That's a bad example. Now the opposite. Okay. That's the signal of a young top-level mountain bike rider.
Guy, just one thing from the questions, like make sure you tell us, can you point to that? Because people are not able to see like what part you're talking about. So if you could be more clear,
Okay.
that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you see the pointer moving?
No.
Okay, I understand the problem. On the top, the HRV curve here is very regular, deep waves, varying from the lowest level 45 up to more than 70. Maybe you can see this on the scale, on the left scale, beat per minute. You can see 70, 60, 50, and the waves are very deep and regular. That's a coherent heart. You can see on the bottom left, the value. It's beginning with 1 and then better until 7. This is a very, very high coherence. If I make the same as before, can you see this?
Yes.
That is the signature of a perfectly coherent heart. A signal peak around 0.1. On the left, nothing. On the right, almost nothing. And look at the intensity. Before, with the old man, we have just a few, 10 units. Here we have almost 8,000. That's the best I've ever seen. So this guy is completely aligned and alert, and he's ready for his sport, okay? But this shows that at the end of the treatment, he's in perfect state.
But how old this guy is?
This guy is young, he's 18.
I know Singe has a very, very high HRV, like over 100 or something like that. But so it's not, I mean, the one thing is hard coherence does not necessarily means having very, very high, because it says that generally the range is from 20 to 100 HRV for average human being. So that means you can be anywhere from 20 to 100. Main thing to watch is if you are going lower than your baseline, or you are going higher is good. If you're going down then lower your baseline, then you have to pay attention to, risk, some problems. Other than that, not necessarily you have to be always very high, right?
Okay, yes, but we could say the signature of a coherent heart is big, deep, regular waves in the HRV curve.
Mm.
And we can say that in France, for example, the pilots of the army are working with this software. In the Netherlands, all the employees of the police are working with it because they have to learn how to stay aligned, even in difficult circumstances. So that's the whole stuff. And the work, I mean, with the exercises in cardiac coherence, is how to get from the bad example we have seen to the best we have seen. The way to do it, to achieve it, is to practice simple breathing exercises.
Okay, Guy, so can I ask you a question here? Can I interrupt you for a moment?
Yes, of
So
course.
a very simple question will be, so the people, the audience here might now understand a little bit what HRV is. Now, question to you, in your personal experience and also people that you are working with, the people, clearly, is there a way you see able to improve their HRV through specific breathing, and how long they have to do, how frequently they have to do?
Okay.
That would, I think, will be interesting thing to
Yes.
know for people.
Yes. The first breathing exercise that we can all do now, maybe, is just to bring our full attention in the chest area. Breathe slower and deeper than usual. And then imagine that the air is going in and out from your heart. That's the basic practice. Full attention in the chest area, or the heart, or eventually the center of the heart. Depends on what the people can do. And then breathing slower, deeper than usual, imagining the air goes out and in from the heart. And you can see directly that the HRV is changing. Directly. That's the most simple way of practicing.
So directly changing means, for example, if you do this deep breathing from heart,
Yeah.
say if somebody does it for 10 minutes and 3 times a day or 5 times a day, that person will increase his or her HRV within a few days, or in that very moment, in real time?
It depends on the capacity of everyone. Okay, but what the people of the HeartMath say, if you do just a few minutes every day, the best being before going to sleep, in the morning when you wake up, and a third time during the day. Just practice a few minutes, breathing like that, you will see the waves in your HRV becoming more regular and deeper. And at the same time, the mean coherence would increase. And I haven't shown it, but you get points when you are practicing well. You get points, and they say if you can accumulate 300 points every day, you are sure that you are improving, and
So if you are getting 300 points, let's talk about specific. If you're getting 300 points every day for few weeks, that means in average your HRV is improving, correct?
oh yes, clearly, very clearly.
So what about a night HRV in night while you're sleeping, then HRV during the daytime?
I haven't so much experience with it because the sensor during the night is not very practical, you know.
Yeah,
It's
because
not like,
I know my HRV every night. I know exactly. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but it's
yes,
not that high, but during the daytime, I don't know exactly. So I'm curious.
But the HRV you are speaking of is the mean HRV. I mean, the highest and the lowest.
Yeah.
But here we are speaking of the depths of the waves on a much shorter time scale, let's say.
Ah, okay.
Okay, that's the point. So the important elements we have brought so far, what people can understand, controlling your breath directly influences your heart. We can see it directly on the HRV curve and on the coherence level. Then, the link with reducing stress, anxiety, well-being, all that kind of things is very clear. I mean, because when your heart is coherent, we have seen it before, your autonomic nervous system is balanced. And all the systems in the body are, let's say, in a certain way, optimized. That's what we are looking for. So when you practice before going to sleep, your sleep will be much better. I mean, you will recover better, and in the morning you are, okay, that's it. In the morning, before going to work, instead of, okay, stress or whatever, you breathe a little while and you go slowly, right? And you are perfectly aligned.
Can you say a little bit about a little while or a few minutes? Like are you saying 5 minutes? Does it depend on the person? Can you say a little more so people can have an idea? Okay, maybe now I'll start doing so many minutes every day, 3 times a day.
Okay, it depends on the people. Some person have difficulties to breathe correctly. So in the beginning, it's better to have very short sessions. And slowly, as they are learning to breathe better, they can make longer periods. If we are just focusing on the 300 points, that would be the reference. When you have a good coherence, is just 1 minute you can have 100 points. Okay,
So
it depends.
another question to you will be, so we're talking about individuals. So you also sometimes been working with a group. So there is a group, more like a collective coherence, like a group or global even. Uh, so like this the experiment you did. So sometimes
Okay,
influencing each other's,
that's the next step. So just before speaking about it, I have to introduce a few elements,
Okay.
and that's directly the inner smile of the heart. I mean, there are some very curious aspects. We will all try to remember or to imagine the 15th day after our conception. The embryo has the size of 1 small millimeter. Then a group of cells which will form later the head, a group of cells from that region move from the head to the center of the chest and begin to form the heart, the blood vessels. Then there's a spontaneous movement of fluids in this small embryo. Nobody knows exactly the cause and the details of this movement. They say spontaneous polarization, so it means nothing.
That primordial wind.
Yes, exactly. And there is a text in the 6 lines, I guess, where they are describing the first heart as being simply a tube. And that's exactly what the embryologists have discovered. And the strange aspect is that the fluid is moving with rhythm before the heart is formed. The cells begin to assemble in interaction with this movement of fluid. the shape of the heart is related to the, how do you call it, vortices in the liquid and things like that. So the heart organ is formed in interaction with this. And 21st day after conception, we can say now a heart is beating. It's the first organ to appear in the embryo. All the other systems, including nervous system, all the other organs, whatever, are formed in this ambience and the rhythm of the heart. Pum, 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 pum. That's an interesting point. That's maybe also why the heart is so important. It's one point. Then, second surprise, scientists have discovered that there's a network of neurons, independent neurons, in the heart, which means the heart is a small brain with all the capacities, including short and long-term memory, for example. And the most important thing, it's the first brain to receive the informations. The heart is the first to react, and then it dispatches the information to the head and the other parts of the body. Oh, you're
Maybe so.
okay.
Sometimes I heard people saying, even the brain does a lot of things, but a lot of information, communication from heart to brain is there's more information going upward than coming downward.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Yeah. And it's very, very clear. So this heart brain is the first, we could say the first hub dispatching the signals in the body.
For example, when we are talking about the breathing, when you go deep breathing in, extra inhalation, diaphragm is going down, the heart is getting more bigger. So then the signal from the heart going to the brain saying, like this is like a little danger or something like that. Heart start to beat faster. And so, basically saying signal seems like going up to the brain first, saying something is happening down there. And brain says, okay, I get the information, take care of it, now you're in the danger. Immediate, then the signal is giving back to the body or to the blood pumping and so on.
That's exactly the point. Exactly. And another interesting point, if with the simple exercise we have been giving, if you add or if you activate a positive emotion like love, compassion, whatever, the HRV and the coherence is directly influenced and gets better. We could say the heart loves love. The physical heart loves love. Where comes the love come from? From the energetic center, of course, which science doesn't recognize. Okay? But very clearly, the physical heart reacts to these positive emotions. And it has directly an influence on all the body systems. That's why we can have better health, improve the immune system, and all the other parameters. Okay. No, that's on a personal level. Maybe just one thing, we can add that everybody knows the ECG, electrocardiogram, which means that the heart is emitting electrical signals that can be easily measured. But it emits also magnetic signals, which can be measured a few feet from the body now. And these magnetic signals are carrying information. If the heart is so sensitive, I mean, the emotions are carried with this magnetic field, which the people around can feel. Everybody has made the experience of sitting next to someone in the bus or at the cinema, and sometimes without knowing the person you feel comfortable or not. how is it? How can we feel it? That's exactly the point. And it means that if you are sending good signals around, I mean, it's like a tuning fork. We say, joyful master, joyful sangha. Okay, that's it's exactly the same meaning. So the heart can send informations quite a bit away from the body using electromagnetic signals. But there are also other signals which science doesn't recognize now. I mean, when you are working with positive emotions or intrinsic qualities of the heart and you are radiating it for everybody around the earth, what's going on? Is it something real? Sure, because we have made the experience. The science for the moment, nothing to say. But the heart is the source. And now, that's the point where we can begin with personal and global coherence. The useful aspects of the personal coherence are evident. But now we live in a period of time, I think the need is enormous to get a better group coherence. Because being alone in our rooms and working and meditating, okay, that's good, but what can we do for all the other people who need it? And I've just forgotten something which is important. There's another surprise with the heart. The scientists have proven that the heart can foresee events. There are a lot of experiments. Imagine people sitting in front of a computer with back screen, HRV device connected, and the computer is showing images at random. Before difficult images will appear, up to 6 seconds before, in the HRV curve you can see the heart has felt something. For the science, it's simply impossible. But that's reality, it's proven, it's a fact. So that's very, very interesting.
Right. Specifically 6 seconds?
Up to 6 seconds.
Up to 6 seconds.
Yeah. Yes, you can, if you Google heart intuition, you can find all the HeartMath research and things. It's published. Okay.
Wow.
So that's very, very interesting. And yes, one more aspect maybe would be, for example, distant healing. Or how can you perceive the health of people which are a few thousand kilometers away from you and almost directly? I mean, conventional science, it's a nonsense. But there are also examples showing that it may happen. So maybe the heart plays a role in it. And I don't know how much time we have.
Yeah, Guy, did you want to do the personal
Yes.
global coherence with
Yes,
the more
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now we can speak a little bit more about the global coherence. What it means, the best example or the most simple example would be this. Imagine thousands and thousands of birds flying together.
Yeah.
Starling murmuration.
Quite a bit.
Sorry.
Wow.
Okay. They do it in the evening before going to bed. That their way of socializing. The mystery is how they manage to do it. Who is leading? Nobody, or everybody. That's a very interesting point. We humans have big difficulties to work like that. Okay. If we could do this, it would be very, very useful.
Same story that they have a birds, like a group of birds that, you know, they what they call unihemispheric sleep. So
Yes.
basically these birds, two corner of the bird, one's open the right eye and the left side open the left eye, and they closes the other eye, and then all the birds in the middle, they close both eyes. So basically all in the middle, they're sleeping, both brain side of the brain. The corner one, this one is the right side of brain is sleeping, and the other one is left side of brain is sleeping. So the eyes are open like that. And then when the time comes, they shift. They have a communication. They just go. Boop, boop. They don't, you know, they don't move around. They just shift the eye open, and the middle they still sleep. So this is must be something like a collective
Yes.
coherence, right?
Yes. Yes. Sure. Sure. And that's that's amazing. And in the same direction.
I think this is what we are trying to. I think in some sense we are trying to. I guess in the sleep and the dream yoga practices, we're trying to kind of learn a little bit, trying to not in a deep sleep, but the light sleep. So somehow during the light sleep, trying to have a dream and still be kind of wake and have a dream too.
Yes.
It looks like
Yes.
a little bit.
And no, it's not the time to we don't have enough time. I've been trying to sleep one hemisphere and the other when I was in the Swiss Army, but okay.
No, lately I've been having these experiences quite a bit, and especially um, last night my whoop did not work. Somehow it did not work. But the last 4 nights, I after 3, 4 in the morning, so I'm trying to a little bit intensely trying to do more prayer, breathing, and intention set up, and to activating the dream. And somehow I'm not sure 100%, but clearly it has significantly increased my RAM for last 4 nights continuously than all the nights before. So I'm curious. I might be discovering something here, big discovery happening.
Yes,
If
I
it's
can
true, then
imagine.
I will clearly let everybody know. Have something to share.
Yes, wonderful,
Good.
wonderful. And just to finish with this aspect of inner smile of the heart, the scientists of HeartMath have made something very, very impressive. They have around the Earth a network of random number generators. This means electronic devices which very, very rapidly choose between 0 and 1. It's just like tossing, how you call it, a piece of money, okay? If you do it quite a great number of times, you should get 50-50. But they are doing it on a much, much, much larger scale and also much faster scale. And what they have discovered is when there are very big events in humanity, the statistic changes. It's not 50-50. And it's far away from the standard variations. They have made the same thing. I was part of it last year around, it was 21st of December, and there was a meeting for peace in the Middle Orient, in Jerusalem. And I don't remember exactly, but a few hundred people were equipped with the HeartMath systems. And they have been analyzing the HRV of everyone, the data, but also the statistics of the electronic devices. And when the meditation began, the electronic devices react. Which means there is a global field of consciousness connecting all the systems on the earth, including trees, birds, also electronics or whatever. And this is a completely new perspective. And if a few hundred or yes, people just coming together to radiate love, gratitude, or whatever is impacting electronics, we can imagine that it will be the same for humanity.
Wonderful. I wanted, before we end, well, first of all, share some of the things that the people are saying from our heart smile all together. The physical heart loves, and I love it. And there's one question that I thought I would like to bring up from a person, from Danielle. It says, could this, and I think she's referring to the breathing that we were doing and the HeartMath, could this actually help if one suffers atrial fibrillation? Is there any research on that, or do you know anything on that?
Yes, sure. People who have heart rhythm, also difficulties or something like that, I mean, there is an emotional component of it. So if you are working on the cause, the heart will respond. I don't say that you will completely recover of it, but it will be less difficult. I've had a few examples with it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. This was fabulous. Rinpoche, anything else that you wanted to add?
A lot of things, but I think we're running out of time.
No.
But I think we should kind of do maybe some point in the future again, continue part 2 or something.
Yeah, wonderful. I love also the
Maybe some
aspect that the heart is a conductor. Yes, go ahead.
some specific exercises so that people can actually take something with them to improve their sleep, their their stress,
And their life. Yes.
yeah.
And if I can say something more,
Please.
there's just one aspect which is very important for me. I mean, because the relation with science, it's very rare that science is going, I would say, upwards, is discovering the qualities of the heart, and they are saying, okay, we are developing systems to add heart to our lives. Not the opposite. Now the people who are doing, researches with the mindfulness or something like that, they are putting babies in the MRI system just to prove they had a good idea. I don't understand this. I mean, it's science, more data, more numbers. Here, it's the opposite. When they have realized that the good emotions have an influence on the heart, say, okay, let's do this and learn how we can bring more. And
So the question, I think a very practical question is, people, those don't have a good emotions, positive emotion, so somehow they have to learn to fake it, or they have to learn to activate somehow, saying, okay, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to actively think about my child smiling, hugging me, and like you have these moments of your child hugs you with love, and you remember those images and feelings, your heart, and you have to, it's like a rewinding.
Exactly. That's
Again,
the good use of
maybe
memory.
50 times or something, and then go to sleep. There must be some techniques like that. Otherwise,
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
difficult to come up with a positive emotion.
Yes, absolutely. In the beginning, you can think, of your cat or a place where you feel comfortable or whatever, and slowly, you can bring the positive emotions. Yes.
Wonderful. Actually, about part 2, a lot of people are interested, and they're saying, Ed is saying, maybe we could all have HeartMath devices and then we'll do it and smile together. So
Yeah, that's
Oh, wonderful.
that was good.
excellent.
I have one here, so
There you go. So we'll have those.
okay.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Rinpoche. And thank you, everyone. And thank you for your lovely comments and questions. And hopefully we'll see people at next full moon and in the dialogues and other Cyber Sangha events. Have a great rest of the day.
You
And
take
your
care. Bye.
heart
Thank
smile.
you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.